Sydzillans. This video is the first about one of my favorite TV shows, Riverdale. For those of you who have never seen Riverdale, it is a teen CW show loosely based off of the Archie comics. Season 1 is about a death. One of the students is mysteriously murdered. Season 2 is about a murderer on the loose. He calls himself the Black Hood and he goes around terrorizing people. Season 3 is about a cult. Well, two cults actually, Griffins and Gargoyles and this thing called The Farm. 4 features Jughead transferring to a prep school, and with a lot of flash forward scenes, we're pretty sure that he's dead. Specifically, this video is about Season 4, Episode 8, when a lot of the teen characters went to therapy sessions, and one of the teens that didn't go was Kevin Keller. For a list of reasons, I believe he should have gone to therapy. I believe he really needs a session, and this is my rant explaining why. Therefore, with the nature of having all my evidence, I will be giving spoilers to the show if you have not caught up as far as Season 4, Episode 8. My evidence into 5 categories in order. Those categories are his relationship with Joaquin, his relationship with Moose, friends and family, his relationship with Fang / anything to do with the farm, and Chicken Charles. Those are the order of the groupings, and within the groupings I have gone chronologically. From Season 1, Episode 1 through 2408. Anything that I think is relevant, I've included it chronologically. I also want to point out that there will not be any clips from the actual show in the duration of this rant. Number 1 is I have no good way to film it. It would just be my phone filming my iPad, and that's just a really crappy angle. Number 2, I don't want to risk a copyright. And number 3, I don't want to say things twice. If I read off a quote and then I have the scene say the quote, I don't need the information more than one time. So everything in the video will just be me and only me the entire time. Alright, time for the first category of evidence, Joaquin. Their relationship started in Season 1, Episode 4, when Kevin went to a movie at the drive-in with Cheryl and Veronica. He stands up to get a refill of popcorn and also a cherry soda when Joaquin is right there behind him. Joaquin's first line to Kevin is, "Not so tough without your beard, are you?" And it took me forever to know what that line meant, because Kevin never had a beard. What the hell are you talking about? But then I realized the beard was a term to refer to like toughness, and he meant Veronica when she had stood up in the pickup truck and yelled at the snakes about shut up, I don't know what it feels like when a Louis Vuitton heel steps on you. He was referring to the fact that he's not tough without Veronica there to back him up. That scene at the concession, we fast forward to them having an aggressive makeout session. At one point, Kevin will say, "Give me your phone." Joaquin will do so, and Kevin will implant his number into the phone before sending it back to him and like shoving it right on his chest. This is the phone, this is Joaquin. And then they will agree to keep their relationship secret because Joaquin is shook that Kevin is the son of the sheriff, and Kevin learns that he's a serpent when he pulls up his jacket and shows the tattoo on his wrist. After 104, we have a line from 108. Moose says, "We're bruiser suds. At least some of us are." And that line foreshadows what happens later in the episode. What happens later is that Moose gets beat up. Some thugs come to the construction site where Kevin, Archie, Moose, and Jughead and a couple other guys are working. And he gets beat the heck up. And he's pretty sure that it's serpents who beat him up. So later, Joaquin takes Moose, Archie, and Kevin to the bar called White Worm to find the guy who beat him up. While at the bar, there's also a really cute Hovind scene where Joaquin tells Kevin to pay up. He says, "I'm gonna get this back, right?" And Joaquin says, "You wish, Peppy," meaning you bet on this game and you lost. Now you gotta pay the consequences. Episode 10, the one where Betty throws a surprise birthday party for Jughead. Kevin is talking to Princess Veronica, and there's a really cute line that he says, "Joaquin is my boyfriend," that makes him inner circle. Veronica had wanted to only invite inner circle of friends to this party. And if that's the case, why is Ethel there? But I'm not going to get into that right now. But, he says that line, And I just think it's so cute. He's my boyfriend. That makes him in a circle. Oh my gosh. Later, at the party, Joaquin and Kevin are having an intense makeout session in the kitchen. Joaquin is standing and Kevin is sitting on the counter. And at one point, their lips will part so that Kevin can ask Joaquin, and I quote, "Do you ever go down the Sweetwater River?" Joaquin, "Do you?" Kevin, "I've been once or twice." And you'll learn later on what exactly that once or twice means. I have evidence for that in another category. But anyway, after that quick discussion, they're about to go back to making out when FP interrupts them. And I'm so angry that he did, but also it's one of the lines that I thought was the best in season 1, like one of the best season 1 lines. "You could cut the sexual tension in here with a knife." I just think that is so amazing. I don't know why I love that line. I love that line. One of the best in season 1. We have a scene from 111. It's the second school dance of the season. Joaquin and Kevin are slow dancing when Kevin says, "This is the first time I bought a boyfriend to one of these. Actually, it's the first time I've ever really had a boyfriend." That makes the relationship all the cuter, and it makes a future scene all the sadder. Like, oh my gosh, he's your first? That's just so cute. We have season 1, episode 12, which contains 3 separate scenes. The first scene is when Veronica, Archie, and Kevin are interrogating Joaquin. Kevin says to him, "I'm not talking to you as your boyfriend. I'm talking to you as a sheriff's son." That's like some really serious stuff. And then, after Joaquin will explain everything he knows about cleaning up Jason's body and the blood and the freezer at the right moment with FP, Kevin will say, "You are a criminal." But you can tell in his tone of voice, in his eyes, in his posture, he still loves him even though he is a criminal. The second scene is when the same 4 people, Archie, Veronica, Kevin, and Joaquin, go to Mustang's apartment. They want to talk to him because he knew about this murder in some way. I forget exactly, but he knew. And then they find him dead in his bathtub. The third and final scene from episode 12 is when Joaquin is leaving town. He gets on a bus to San Junipero and breaks Kevin's heart, breaks all the viewers' hearts. Like, it is one of the saddest scenes. And later, when I figure out that that scene was cut, there's a post say "I love you," but that line didn't make it in. Oh, I was furious. And so were some fan accounts, like some Hovind fan accounts. They posted in the story. They were so upset. So please, could you release that as a blooper? Like, we need that as a blooper. Anyway, a quote from that episode, just to add to the sadness. Joaquin says, "You've got to tell your friends to stop before they get hurt." Kevin replies with, "You really don't know them at all, do you? Just like I don't know you." Fast forward to when they've kissed, and Joaquin says, "I'm gonna miss you, Preppy." The saddest line. Oh my god. I literally cried so hard for days. I went onto YouTube, I found some Hovind edits, and I was a mess for like a week. At least, maybe more. Oh my god, they messed with me so hard. This of Joaquin evidence skips all the way to season 3, episode 5. Kevin, Betty, Veronica, Reggie, Josie, and I forget who else, are busting Archie out of the prison that he's been staying in, even though he's innocent. He didn't kill Cassidy, he didn't do anything, but they still locked him up, and so his friends are trying to bust him out. Kevin is busy working on this grate thing. He needs to pull the lid off so that Archie can bust out of the pipe, or something like that. Anyway, when he sees Joaquin running across a hill, he'll say, "Where are you going? Back to the serpents?" Joaquin replies with, "You don't want to know, Kevin. Leave. You've got to get out of here, right now." That's their entire interaction. And later, when he's talking to his friend, he'll say, "I have to go after him." Kevin talking about Joaquin, "I have to go after him." But clearly he doesn't. Clearly he doesn't go after him, because by 3:06, Joaquin is dead. And it breaks all the viewers' hearts. Some more than others. I wasn't hospitalized. Some people were. But it breaks all of our hearts were crying for so long. Oh my gosh. We thought there was hope to finally rekindle heaven, and then they just take it away from us like that. How dare you, Roberto? How dare you? On top of it, they never showed a scene where Kevin was told Joaquin's dead. So does he even know? Like, does he even know at all that his first boyfriend is dead? Like, that's just real harsh. You can't do that to him. You can't do that to him. On to category number 2, his relationship with Moose. There's been many ups and downs. I've been so excited. I've had my heart broken more than once. And there's been a bunch of contradictions. 2 pieces of Moose evidence come from season 1, episode 1. They're at the very first school dance of the season, and Kevin runs up to Betty to say, and I quote, "You will not believe who just propositioned me in the bathroom. To give you a hint, his name may be Moose, but I describe a certain appendage of his as horse-like." I like that line because first off, it's hilarious. Second off, I have a feeling what appendage you saw, but the fact that you describe it as horse-like means you've seen that same appendage on a horse. And I don't want to know why you're going and looking at horse wieners. Like, what are you doing that you can say, I describe it as horse-like? How do you know what a horse looks like? I don't want to know how you know. The evidence is after the dance when Kevin and Moose go to Sweetwater River. And this is the scene I was referencing when I low-key brought it up during Joaquin's. I've been once or twice. This is what he meant. He meant I've been with Moose. But anyway, as they're walking down to the water, before they see Jason's body and end up not doing whatever they were going to do, here's what they say, and I love this conversation. It starts off with Moose. "I'm not gay." Kevin: "Obviously not, Moose. You're on the football team. But if you were gay, anything you'd like to do." Moose says, "Everything but kiss." And Kevin ends it with, "I love a good closet case." Those last 2 lines, "anything but kiss" and "I love a good closet case," are part of the contradictions of their relationship. They're part of the contradictions. And also, when Kevin says, "Obviously not, you're on the football team," you can be gay and like football. Has Kevin not seen Modern Family? Has Kevin not seen Cam? The next scene is from season 1, episode 2. Kevin and Moose are in biology class. Kevin and Betty thought they would be partners for the assignment. Moose is like, "No, we talked. He's with me." And over at their table, they have a conversation that brings up some more lines that I just really, really love. Another top line of season 1. Moose says, "Saturday night." Kevin says, "Listen, Moose, you're hot? Yes. My type? Definitely. But you got more demons than The Exorcist. We are all on the spectrum, but my grandmother says you should stick to what you know best. Girls." I love that line. "You've got more demons than The Exorcist." That is just iconic sass. You've got more demons than The Exorcist. Who comes up with this? That is just gold. Later, when he's walking to lunch with Betty and Veronica, they ask him what Moose wanted. And eventually Kevin will respond with, "He doesn't have a special girlfriend, Midge. Part of me wishes he would stay in the darn closet." Which you'll later learn he does not. You love a good closet case? My butt. You do not. We'll learn this later, like I said. But this is part of the contradictions. 102, we skip to 104. When he's at the concession buying the popcorn and the cherry soda, he happens to look behind him and see what we can only assume is Moose and Midge making out in the back of their car. So he turns to the concession and says, "And a hot dog. Who am I trying to impress?" So the guy running the hot dog stand says, "We're out of dogs." And then when he turns back around, hot dog list, all of the guys popcorn and drink, that's when he meets Joaquin. Skip to season 2, episode 3. Kevin is night jogging, aka cruising Fox Forest, making out with some random dude. But let's be honest, we're glad that he did, because Moose was shot. And if Kevin hadn't gone there to call 911 or do whatever he did, Moose would probably be dead. So Kevin saved his life. People like Betty get real angry that he was cruising. I have that evidence coming up later. But if he didn't cruise, Moose would probably be dead. So we just gotta thank him for being a hero. School, Kevin is talking to some friends, and he says, and I quote, "It was full on Carrie. Midge covered in Moose's blood screaming." And that line is some really, really good foreshadowing, because the musical of that season was Carrie, and as I have coming up as evidence, Midge dies in the musical. She dies in Carrie the musical. And Kevin said that it was full on Carrie. The final scene we have from 203 is when Kevin goes to visit Moose in the hospital. They have a conversation that brings up one of my favorite lines, not just of the season, but probably of the entire show. And I quote, "Kevin, are you okay?" Kevin responds, "I just haven't been making great decisions lately. Been lying to my dad, sneaking around and going into the woods. I know it's dangerous, but I can't stop myself. I don't even care. What is that?" Moose says, "I don't know, but guys like us, like you, in a town like Riverdale, we don't have a lot of options. Even if something bad could happen, we go for it. Because what if, for 10 minutes, maybe even just for 2 minutes, we're not alone." Then later, as Kevin's trying to leave, Moose says, "Kevin, you don't have to go. Or you can come back whenever you want to hang out or talk." Guys like us, like you. He doesn't come out till later. I have that evidence in a future scene. But he basically said it right there. Like us, like you. I don't know. I just love that line. Because what if, for 10 minutes, maybe even just for 2 minutes, we're not alone. I find that to be so freaking cute. And also, Moose has a stuffed moose that someone gave as a gift, which is just, that's cute too. Like, oh my god, the whole scene is just one of my favorites. To season 2, episode 14. The first scene is when Kevin asks Moose to go to the movies with him. Love Simon is playing at the Bijou. Moose responds with, "I'm already going, with Midge. You can come with us if you want." Kevin, "Really? Midge is that open-minded?" Moose, "Yeah, she knows all about us. I told her, she's cool with it." And then Kevin refuses to go with them because it's a little too big love for him. But to me, it breaks my heart because Love Simon, for all of you that don't know, is a gay movie. To put it nicely, it's a gay movie. And you, Moose, don't go to the movie with your girlfriend. You should go with your kind of sort of boyfriend that ends up becoming your boyfriend in the future. Like, you don't know. You should have gone with Kevin in this movie. You have to have, okay? Just child, you dumb. Later in the same episode, Kevin is eating at the diner by himself when Moose and Midge show up and invite him to eat at their table. So he does. And later, Midge asks them, "So, how did you two get to be friends anyway?" And Kevin just looks at Moose. Because I would look at Moose too. Yeah, she knows. You told her. She's cool with it. If she knew, she wouldn't be asking the question. Like, Moose, you just freaking lied to Kevin's face. Midge does not know. Because if she knew, she wouldn't be asking. Anyway, their answer is lab partners biology. Because they can't tell the truth. "Oh yeah, we propositioned, and oh yeah, we went to the river and we were going to do this, but then we saw a dead body, and. You can't tell her any of that. You can't tell your girlfriend you have a boyfriend." So they just go lab partners biology, which is true, kind of. But Midge, if she knew, wouldn't ask the question. So Moose lied to Kevin, and this scene just really infuriates me, as you can tell, because I keep repeating myself. It infuriates me to no end. Episode 17 of season 2, Cheryl is sent to the Sisters of Quiet Mercy by her mother, and all of the girls in the cult are forced to watch this black and white movie. And the black and white movie portrays Kevin and Moose in the movie, but they're not playing as themselves. The Tom and Dick, or whatever the two guys' names are, I don't remember. But it's a really nice scene, so I still figure I'd include it. Lots of fan edits do, since it's the actors. We have season 2, episode 18, and the aforementioned Carrie the musical, in which Midge will die. But the scene I want to reference is when they're in the change room, they sing a song. Kevin and Moose's line is, $80 for a tux, and we better get laid. Then Midge says, "You've been praying for that since the 7th grade. And I don't quite know how to interpret that, but I kind of think of it as Midge low-key knowing about Coos the whole time. And so long that she knew, it was even before 101. Like, she just knew that Coos was going to be a thing since 7th grade. Like, she knew since 7th grade. So why did you ask that question? They became friends because that's the first step in building Goose. The next evidence is from season 2, episode 21. There's a line that Kevin says that I love to take out of context, and it is, "I'm with Moose." Next is a scene when Archie, Reggie, Moose, and Kevin, I think that's it, all in Pops together, when Pops is under attack by the ghoulies. At one point, Kevin and Moose are huddling together. They've like moved the jukebox and they're like hiding behind it. It's so cute. It's underrated, but it's so cute how they're like holding on to each other like that and being protective of one another. We have season 2, episode 22, and one of the most iconic Goose scenes of all time. It is freaking adorable. Kevin walks into the bathroom when he sees Moose crying at the sinks. He's upset that on riot night, Midge's locker was trashed. Her notes, her books, her stuffies, all of her stuff, it's just gone. And he's really upset. So Kevin will comfort him, tell him that everything's going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. The two are hugging when all of a sudden Moose kisses Kevin. And Kevin is shocked. So he just pulls back. It doesn't last more than like maybe a second or two. But then he realizes that, yeah, no, I want this. So he goes back in, and it's fairly aggressive with a nice pan out. Moose is really flat. There are no seasons that thick. I always like to mock that scene. Pause and it's like, haha, you flat. But overall, it is a very, very, very cute scene. I'm really glad that Moose initiated it. However, this is more of the irony and contradictions. Remember in season 1, episode 1, Moose said, "Anything but kiss." If it's anything but kissing, why is the first thing you did kissing? Make up your mind. Kissing or no kissing. Also, I'm really glad it's Moose because clearly he can't make up his mind whether he's going to make out Kevin or be sad about his girlfriend. Like, he's doing two different things, two different very romantic things in the same scene. One, he's depressed, and one, he's like, ooh, let's chill up with this dude. Anyway, I don't want to harp on it too much because it is one of the best Goose scenes of all time, but it's a little tiny bit flawed. So we have season 3, episode 1. Kevin and Moose are lounging in some chairs at Cheryl's pool party. I'm pretty sure it's like an end of summer Labor Day party before they all go back to school. And at this party, Kevin makes a proposal to Moose. He makes a suggestion about something he thinks they should do. And I quote, "You know those movies where friends make a pact to lose their virginity by the end of the school year? I've been thinking since we've been hanging out all summer, maybe we should make a similar pact of our own, but on a slightly more accelerated timetable. Say by Halloween at the latest." And Moose's face is pretty shook. He's like, you can kind of interpret it as, no, I don't want to do that, but he didn't say no, so we'll see what happens. We have a scene from 302. Moose is getting binders from his locker, and when he closes the door, Kevin just swoops in from behind, and they have a kiss that is really shortly lived because Moose pulls instantly away and is like, dude, what are you doing? Which, by the way, is the same line that Archie uses in 305 after Joaquin kisses him, but irrelevant. The reason why the kiss is so short-lived is because his dad is literally right a few feet from them as the new ROTC instructor, and he can't see them. But I still thought it was a cute moment. In the same episode, it seems like Moose low-key rejects Kevin because Kevin is getting some food from Pops, like takeout to eat at home. Then Moose walks in with the ROTC guys. Kevin asks, "Moose, are you ashamed of me?" And he responds with, "No, I'm just with the guys." Meaning, you're great and all, but these guys can't know that we're anything. Nobody can know that we're anything. Same episode, Kevin ends up joining the ROTC himself. Not that he's trying to add more romantic scenes, but just that he can have more time with Moose in general, because with the guys, he's now a guy. I have a lot of evidence from season 3, episode 12, and because this episode featured more on the minor characters, Reggie, Josie, Kevin, and I forget the fourth, Tony maybe, I find it to be one of my favorite episodes of all time. We do still get some main characters in the show. Veronica and Reggie hang out a lot. Archie and Josie hang out a lot. But I think it's really nice how for only once, they focus on the minor characters and made them the focus of the episode. Piece of 312 evidence is when Tom, Sierra, Kevin, and Josie are having breakfast at Pop's, and Kevin's got his glass of milk, because duh. The parents are talking about how they just want to have a low-key wedding. They're going to go down to City Hall and they don't want to have a whole big celebration. But Kevin and Josie completely disagree with that. They insist on throwing a party. So when Moose and Marcus, which is his dad, they walk by the table, Sierra offers them to be the first invites to the party that is being held at Le Bon Nuit, which is Veronica's speakeasy in the basement of Pop's. Marcus says he'll have to check his calendar, and the two of them walk off. But as they're walking off, you can tell that Kevin is just staring at Moose's butt. Or at least that's what I assume. The way his eyes travel and his whole head as Moose is walking, like, you could not be any more obvious. Like, it's so obvious. Like, he's just staring the guy down when he leaves. And I think that's really ironic because, like I said, from the 222 kiss, Moose is frigid flat. He's thick with 0 C's. Just THI. All he gets is THI. So, why do you think that's so great to stare at it as you walk down? And maybe it's just a camera angle. Maybe 222's camera angle gives me that impression when really he's not. But like, I just think it's really ironic. Finally, we have a makeout scene at school. They're both in their cadet uniforms, sealing a moment before they have to go hear a presentation by the Naval Recruitment Officer. And I like to refer to this one as the RROTC spin makeout because they spin when they're doing it. And then Kevin's the one up against the wall. And I assume it was originally because they spun. But I just love the spin. The spin is, oh my god. I don't know why I love it so much, but I love the spin. I think Kevin needs to get a dictionary for this scene is because as part of trying to convince Moose why he should come out to his dad and be the date to the Tom and Sierra wedding, he asks, how long have we been together? And Moose says, since summer started. Kevin responds with, so practically forever. And might I point out that since summer started is not forever. We'll go back to the 301 proposal that Kevin came up with, lose their virginity by Halloween at the latest. We also know that this is a school day. So we will assume anywhere from September 1st to October 30th. And then, if we assume summer is June, we'll give them an extra month of break just cause. That's like 4 or 5 months. So, that is not forever. I know it's supposed to be like some romantic cute thing. It feels like forever because I'm so in love, blah blah blah, but I just like, get a dictionary. 5 months is not forever. We have Kevin talking to Cheryl. Kevin says, and I quote, I just wish he'd be more honest with his dad so he could date, openly. Another contradictory statement. You wish he'd be more open. Can I throw season 1 in your face? Can I throw season 1 in your face? Later he says, Major Mason's not the biggest fan of our persuasion. He is your persuasion. As we learn later, he is your persuasion. And maybe the sisters were actually able to work their magic for once. The conversion actually converted him. That's why he dated Moose's mom long enough to create Moose. But he is your persuasion. So that just seems like a contradiction as well. But we don't know it at the time. In response to that statement, though, Cheryl says a line that is iconic for the episode, for the season, for the show as a whole. It is just beautiful. And I quote, It burns me that there are people in this town who think being gay is anything less than rapturous. Which, yes, spot on. Anybody to be able to love whoever they want. Spot on, Cheryl. Spot on. Fourthly, we have Cheryl's not-so-blind item. When she's reading out the morning announcements, she mentioned something about how a hunky all-American RROTC cadet is afraid to come out of the closet and that he should. so that him and his Broadway-loving boyfriend can PJ like all the other sex-crazed couples that bill in the halls. And it's not bad, but it's not good. Like, you can't out him like that. You can't out him like that, Cheryl. Fifth piece of 312 evidence is Kevin's ultimatum based off of the blind item. He says that what Cheryl did is wrong because he hates to out people unless they're conservative politicians, but putting that aside, we've been together for a while now, and I can't keep playing broke-back Riverdale with someone who's in the closet. Either you come out to your dad, or sorry, but we're breaking up. Either way, I'll respect your decision. More contradictory statements. Like I said for the Cheryl conversation scene, can I throw season 1 in your face? In season 1, you said, pardon me, wishes he'd just stay in their own closet. 312, come out or else. Buddy, you're not helping yourself. This argument is supposed to be how other people screw you up. You need therapy because other people screw you up. But you screw up yourself. Sixth piece of evidence is what I like to call the reversed locker kiss. This time it's Kevin taking binders out of his locker, and when he closes the door, boom, there's Moose to kiss him. Because guess what? His decision out of come out or break up was come out. He told his dad the freaking truth. Which, as far as we know, we're thinking, oh, I'm so proud of you, good for you. But then later we're like, was that really the right choice? Was that really? I'm going to quote their conversation. Moose, I did it. I told my dad. Kevin, you did. How did it go? Moose, he was quiet and weird at first, but then okay, I think. We went to Pops afterwards and got chicken pot pie, which is a good sign, right? Kevin, I'm so proud of you, Moose. Does that mean you'll be my date to the wedding? Moose, yes, and more importantly, I think we should do it. Spend a night together. Only question is where. Kevin, don't worry, I know the perfect spot where no one will interrupt us. Oh, really? No one! No one! Seventhly, we have Moose in Pops when Cheryl walks in and talks to him. I will be reading out that conversation. And quote, Cheryl, greetings, Moose. Moose, what the hell, Cheryl? What do you want? Cheryl, to apologize. Outing you was wrong for so many reasons. Moose, apology accepted. Cheryl, I'm not saying what you did was right, but it kind of turned out okay. I'm out to my dad now. Kevin and I, we're going to do it. Tonight, in some secret bunker. Cheryl, well, Moose. In that case, I'd bring a fresh set of sheets. A lot of people have had sex on that cot. And then Moose's face is just like, oh, dang. On to, I'm pretty sure, evidence 8, still from 312. Like I said, Kevin was the main focus of this episode. Anyway, evidence 8 is the official sex scene inside the bunker. Kevin is lighting some candles and says, I know, candles, it's dumb. But Moose says, I get it, and literally pulls his own candle out of his pocket. Oh my god, it's so cute. Candles aren't dumb. Candles are not dumb. So cute. Right after the candles have been lit and laid down, they start making out and undressing each other. And might I point out that if they would just undress themselves and then make out, everything would be much more effective. The clothes would come off way faster and way easier. I don't know why every single show, every single movie that has a sex scene insists on doing it this way. If you took off your clothes and you took off your clothes and then it would be much more effective than doing this and trying to undress at the same time. Then, later, we'll fast forward quite a bit, Kevin yells, Betty, if that's you, I'll reserve the bunker for tonight. Betty. Then, what the hell's this? Who are you guys? What are you doing? Say something. A red light will flash. Moose, no! Because he's being dragged out. He's being dragged out by the people. And that's why I was yelling earlier. I know the perfect place where no one will interrupt us. Well, you just got freaking interrupted. You just been interrupted. How do you feel? Your secret place is not so secret because someone freaking found you. Ninth, we have Kevin and Moose. they're outside the bunker being led toward a challenge. It's one of those goblets from Gryffindors and Gargoyles, and they need to flip for their fate. Kevin insists on going first and is just about to drink from the goblet when they hear Bona whiz past their head, because Cheryl has just showed up with the cops in tow. And at first I was mad that Moose told Cheryl, oh yeah, we're gonna have it in the bunker tonight, blah blah blah. But when I saw that scene, I was like, oh thank God, Cheryl just saved their freaking life. Cheryl just saved their freaking life. And also, one more thing to point out is that the parents were all together doing something, I can't remember what it was, but they're driven to call their children. And every single parent gets an answer. The kids interrupt their makeout sessions, study sessions, whatever, to talk to their parents. All except Kevin. Kevin doesn't answer his dad when he calls. And for whatever reason, Penelope says to Cheryl, do you know where he is? Like, she's asking Cheryl if he knows where Kevin is. Which, thanks to Moose, he does. So, everything goes fine. But, at first, when Moose told her, I was like, don't do that. But, in hindsight, I'm so glad that he did. I'm so glad that he did, because she saved all of their lives. And, when the masks were taken off, we reveal who's beneath the Gargoyle King. It was, dun dun dun, Marcus Mason. He's terrorizing his own kid. He's freaking terrorizing his own child. Who does that? So 10th, we have a scene between Marcus and FP. FP is asking Marcus why he did what he did to his son and son's boyfriend. Marcus says, there was no poison in those chalices. I was just scaring them. FP says, scaring them straight. You literally set out to abduct and terrorize your own kid. And I'm like, thinking, scaring them straight? Yeah, literally straight. Then Marcus says, when I am weak, you are weak. The ROTC was the same way when Tom Keller and I were in high school. Us cadets did everything together. No one was closer than me and my best friend Tommy Keller, until I tried to kiss him. Then later Marcus says, when my parents found out about my inclinations, they sent me to the sisters to get help for my weakness of character. That's where I first met the king and started playing Gryffindors and Gargoyles. I later learned Tommy was playing too with his midnight club. The sisters cleared me of impure thoughts. Then I hear that Tom and Sarah are getting married, just as my own son Moose told me he was seeing Tom's boy. FP, you wanted to destroy what you could not have. The sisters scared you with the Gargoyle King, so you thought you would do the same to Moose and Kevin. So basically the short form of that scene is that Marcus admits, when I was in high school, I had a crush on Tom. Tom doesn't date me because he's straight. So there's no way that my son is going to get to date Tom's son. I can't have it, you can't have it. 11th and final piece of 312 evidence, also the final piece of Moose evidence total, is the scene where Moose tells Kevin that he's leaving town. Moose says, I can't stay, Kev. I came to tell you that I'm moving to Glendale and stay with my aunt. By the way, Glendale is the name of the town from Daybreak, the show Cody Kirsley was also cast on to play Turbo. Kevin says, Moose, your friends are here, and I'm here. You can live with any of us. Moose, Kevin, I can't live here, at least not for a little while. Then they have a kiss, and Kevin says, I'm going to miss you, Marmaduke. Then Moose, I'm going to miss you, Kevin Keller. And you can see they're both crying, they're both really sad as they release hands and walk away. It is so heartbreaking. It's so heartbreaking. But it's also ironic, because, as I mentioned, this is episode 12. Season 3, episode 12, when Moose leaves. Joaquin left in 112. What is it with episodes number 12 breaking Kevin's heart? 112? 312. I have category 3. The reasons why friends and family contributed to Kevin being screwed up. So the first evidence that I have is from season 1, episode 8. This is back when Kevin, Moose, Jughead, Archie, and a bunch of other people were working construction, at Fred's job site, and someone, I forget who, says to Kevin that they forget him on the team, meaning the football team. And Kevin says, I prefer my contact sports one-on-one, like boxing. And I take that in two ways. Number one, wrestling would have been a better fit, because in later seasons you see him wrestling. He's like trying out for the team, he's going against Archie, he's wearing the uniform, blah blah blah. And I think it goes back to 101, that whole thing with Moose. Obviously not, you're on the football team, but if you were, what do you want to do? He can't be on the football team in his mind. So I take that line in two ways. We have season 2, episode 3. Kevin's been doing a lot of night jogging, aka cruising in the woods. And for one particular incident, Betty and Cheryl follow him out to the woods. Betty proceeds to get real angry at him, and he proceeds to get angry back, going on about BDSM, sexuality, blah blah blah. I don't have the exact quote, but she's really angry about him cruising this day, before that day, any day after that day. She's just so against it. And she's like, why can't you just use Grindr like every other gay person? Have in 214, when he goes to the movie with Josie, that's like one of the few rare brother-sister scenes that we actually get. It's so cute, but also it was like, Moose should have gone with you. Moose should have been the one to go with you. But I'm not here to go over that again. Moose did what he did for reasons that I'm sure are valid. But at the same time, I'm like, child! There's so many scenes of friends and family that screwed him up. I didn't get every single example because it would have taken too long to research. But people weren't there for him when he needed them. After Joaquin left or after Moose left. Betty wasn't there for him. She only went to him when she needed him. His sister wasn't there for him. His parents weren't there for him, aka dad and stepmom. Like, nobody was there for him when he needed them, except for Evelyn. That's why he joined the farm, as you'll learn in evidence category number 4. Only Evelyn was there for him. That's why he's so effed up. There were no friends and no family helping him when he drastically needed it. We did get the Kevin and Betty friendship back. In 405, he agrees to join the FBI with her as part of some teen program that Charles is running. But there's so many scenes prior to 405 that the friendship was lacking when it really should not have been. Like I kind of just mentioned, our fourth category is farm and fangs. I've grouped the two together because they're very related, as you'll soon see. Number 1 is when Fangs and Kevin first meet in season 2, episode 10. Kevin says, "What's your name? Fogarty?" Fangs says, "You can call me Fangs. Your last name's Keller, right?" Kevin, "How'd you know that?" Fangs, "Joaquin and I used to hang out. He talked about you all the time." That tells you how much Joaquin loved Kevin. We have 214, that scene where Midge, Moose, and Kevin are all at the diner together. Midge is talking about getting Kevin someone to date, and she suggests one of those new Southside guys, and Kevin says, and I quote, "If it's Fangs Fogarty, I don't think I can date someone named Fangs." Which you'll find out is a contradiction. 218, which is the musicals episode, also has a bunch of good Kang's content. Fangs scrapes his chair on the floor and joins the circle of rehearsals, or he sits next to Kevin and co-directs. Like, there's not a lot of high romance scenes, but there is a lot of Kevin and Fangs interaction compared to what there had been previously. The next evidence is again from a musical, but this time it's the 316 musical of Heathers. There's one scene where they're singing a song called Our Love Is God, and Evelyn's standing like right here, and then Kevin's like here, and Fangs is like here, and then beside that there's rows of all these people, just people in chairs, and everyone is wearing white, and they're singing their song, Our love is God, our love is God, blah blah blah. And then Fangs and Kevin have their first kiss, and that is why the line from 214, "I can't date someone in Fangs," is a contradiction. Oh really? You can't? Looks like you can. Because he just did. Scene from 316, and this one has to do more at the farm than with Fangs. Evelyn gives him a brownie to eat, and it must be some kind of weed brownie or something of the sort, because he starts hallucinating Midge's death. Like, he sees her tacked on the wall, and it's quite horrifying. It's like Kevin and Fang are now just a couple after that kiss from 316. Our next evidence is from the same season, episode 21. We're at the farm, and Betty is joining Cheryl, Tony, Kevin, and Fangs at their table to eat lunch. Fangs is acting a little weird, so Betty asks, "Fangs, are you okay?" He responds with, "Yeah, I'm still a little sore, but the big pain is gone now." Betty asks, "What are you talking about?" Kevin pops in with, "Fangs had a minor procedure done." Then later Kevin says, "For me, the tenderness in my back only lasted a few days, but it was so worth it." Betty lifts his shirt and says, "Oh my God, Kevin, that scar is not from a minor procedure. It's from a major surgery." So basically this is Betty discovering that the farm is a secret organ harvesting cult. The farm turns your emotional, mental pain into physical pain, and then removes said physical pain by stealing your organs. That sounds very creepy, messed up, and demonic. They turn your mental, emotional pain into physical pain and then steal your organs. So in 321, there's a scene where Fangs and Kevin work together as they drag Betty across the carpet. A line from season 4, I remember the exact episode number, this one I don't have it, but it is in season 4. Betty says, in reference to that scene, "When you dragged me by my ankles so you could get a lobotomy," and I laughed so hard. The farm scene is in 322 when everybody ascends. I don't know what that means, but when everyone ascends, they leave Kevin behind because according to him, someone had to in order to explain what happened. And I find that so upsetting that they left Kevin behind, because as much as I hate the farm to no end, I hate Edgar, I hate Evelyn, I hate the organ harvesting, the whole premise of it is just, oh my God, the farm is freaking evil. As much as I hate them, I believe that they don't deserve to break Kevin's heart like this. Evelyn was the only one there for him after Moose. She was the only one that cared for him, and his friends and family did not. He was lonely, he was vulnerable, he was hurting, and she snatched him up. And then she goes in a phase of him by saying, "Oh yeah, you be the one person that can't ascend." Like, what did he do to deserve this? He gave you his freaking organ. He gave you his organ. And this is what you're gonna do to him? Say, "Oh yeah, you be the one that stays back. You are the one that explains to everyone what the heck happened here." Like, that's just not right. Next we have season 4, episode 2. Kevin and Fangs meet in the woods, but it's not a very romantic scene because all Fangs wants is information. If Kevin can help him out, who's the mole? Who's working for the FBI? Blah, blah, blah. I forget exactly what Fangs said, but all he wants is evidence that he can give to Edgar. But without that evidence, I can't date you, I can't see you, I can't anything. Give me the evidence and nothing else. Not that I'm a huge Kang shipper, but it is very depressing because Kevin does not deserve to have his heart broken for a third time. So now we have our final piece of evidence. This one's a little more subtle than all the other 4 categories, but I still believe that Chick and Charles did some pretty good damage to him. The first piece of evidence is when Kevin is talking to Betty and he remembers where he first saw Chick. In 211, he tells her that Chick is like an online webcam person. He's like a online sex, talk to me, blah, blah, blah type of person. Then in 215, in 215, he is talking to Chick on that webcam service. He's trying to get some information for Betty, but they just can't do it because the brother seems like a really nice guy and he can't do it. So that ends basically right after it started. And then later in 216, Chick has invited him over for a glass of milk and some cookies. Friggin' milk! You know how to get Kevin to like you. You just gotta give him milk. In 4:05, this is the scene where Betty and Kevin have just joined Charles' junior FBI program. Kevin says to Betty, and I quote, "Your half-brother is so hot." Then we get a scene in 4:06. This is just between Chick and Charles, but it does help illustrate my point. Charles says, "Smooth as cream, babe." They touch their hands through the glass, like one hand here, and it goes like this. Imagine glass in between me. And they say that they love each other. And you wonder how the heck does Charles and Chick loving each other screw up Kevin? Well, allow me to explain. Chick pretends that he's Betty's half-brother. And Kevin thinks that he's really cute, really hot, really sexy, blah, blah, blah. Then we discover that Chick's not actually the half-brother. Charles is the real half-brother. And Kevin's like, "Oh yeah, he's so hot." I had that quote from 4:05. And then we realize that the fake half-brother and the real half-brother are dating each other. I don't know if Kevin knows that they're dating, but that would screw anybody up. The guy I like and another guy I like dating each other. One's my friend's half-brother and one's my friend's fake half-brother. To summarize, I believe Kevin should have gotten a therapy session in 4:08 because of all the stuff that happened with Joaquin, his first ever boyfriend, leaving him and then dying, and for all we know, he has no idea Joaquin died. Because of Moose, the very rocky relationship with lots of contradictions, and as soon as they're getting off to a good start, all the evidence from 312, as soon as they're off to a good start, nope, he leaves town for Glendale. Number 3 was his friends and family. Overall, they were only there for him when they needed him. He was depressed over Joaquin. He was depressed over Moose, and nobody was there. His dad didn't help. His friends didn't help. His new stepmom and stepsister, like, hardly ever were they there when he needed them there. The farm and Fangs screwed him up. Fangs is another relationship, just like how Joaquin and Moose screwed him up. And then the farm screws up everybody that it works with. They took his organ, they wouldn't let him ascend, they gave him weed brownies so he had to hallucinate Midge's death. And yes, the only reason he joined is because he was weak, vulnerable, sad, blah, 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 and Evelyn was there for him. But if his friends had been there for him, he wouldn't have had to need Evelyn. He wouldn't have succumbed to her ways because he would have been fine with his sister, his dad, Betty, Veronica, whatever. The only reason her magic worked, just to call it that briefly, was because no one else was working theirs. And finally, I believe Charles and Chick messed him up because how I really like you and I really like you, and then oh look, you two are dating. If he were to find that out, that would just mess with his mind. It's not as strong an evidence as the latter 4 categories, but I believe that's still important. And because of all of those reasons, I think that he should have gotten a therapy session in 408. We could list off his traumas in a bulleted form. This, just like Miss Burville did to Cheryl. Having to go through one of them, let alone all of them, is traumatic. So, he deserves to be comforted by a licensed therapist. Wraps up this video. So if you actually stuck around to this point and you enjoyed my rant, please drop a like down below. Subscribe if you're new so you don't miss future content. Comment your opinion on this same topic. Follow me on my social medias, and aloha till next time.